Hi, everyone. Welcome back to World Without Borders, the podcast. And hello to Renata and Suzy. Do you want to say hello to everyone?
Hello,
Very
everyone. My name is Renata. I'm originally from Brazil and I'm zooming in from Portland, Oregon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Suzy. I'm originally from Cameroon and I'm zooming from Kentucky.
Hi, everyone. I am Megan, and I am born and bred Cape Townian and South African, and I am right here in Cape Town, South Africa, enjoying our summer right now, guys. I know you two are not enjoying summer, so I'm sending you some sunshine, some beach vibes, and all of that, and hoping that everyone has been enjoying the last few weeks. Getting back into the swing of things at work, I assume. Most people, right?
Yeah, yes, we actually don't have a choice.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's been a gentle one, Suzy.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Renata,
not a choice, but anyway.
Renata, how's it going on your side? Have you started slowly creeping back to work? How's it been?
Yeah, I think I started to see this week a shift, like, okay, I'm back in my track. But the first 2 weeks, I was like, wow, what happened? 2025, my goodness. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're 2 weeks down, Renata?
Hmm?
2 weeks down already. You've been at work for
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, the
Wow.
first 2 weeks was very slowly. It was like rethinking, planning and everything. So taking my time. It was
Two
good.
weeks. It's a long time.
No,
It's a
no,
long
no,
time.
not 2 weeks directly, but
Okay.
now I feel okay. I'm back 100%. I was like,
Right.
step by
I'm
step
with
coming back.
I'm with you. And Suzy, you've been back since?
Yes, I came back like around the third. I worked on the
Okay.
2nd of January anyway. I worked on the 2nd of
Okay.
January, so I was back
Yeah.
and I was like, this couldn't be as a long break as I thought it was. It was
Yeah.
so strange to be back to work, and I was like, I took 10 days vacation. I was like, can I get more, please?
I know the feeling. I've been slowly but surely trudging back to work over the last few weeks. School in South Africa or Cape Town just restarted, and my daughter went back to school on a Wednesday. So I've been working through on projects that kept running, but not really in office. You know, that in and out every few days kind of thing. And then after New Year's, I just took like a block of time. That week, I just slept and read and caught up with myself. And then suddenly it was time to think of coming back into the office. And I was like, this is way too soon. This is way too soon. It was painful. Well, last week when I really started coming back into it was painful, I must admit.
I definitely agree with you. Mine was like, when did we have the break again? Because I feel like I didn't have time off. This is just like you go and come back. It's New Year. It's the first second pop. You're on the bench. You're like, I'm going back to my job, and I was
Yeah,
like, this is just too soon. It's just like a slow shift.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that one. And Renata, on your side, you've been back, and is everything actually like running in your world? Is it moving forward? Is everybody back? Does it feel like last year?
Well, actually, I don't work in an office, so I work from home, and so I
Mhm.
think it's a little bit easier for me.
Yeah.
And I just came back to my full-time routine.
Yes.
So, and I'm happy. I'm more oriented now, because I was a little bit lost. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
I'm in my routine again. So this is good. This is good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to be spending my first full week in office this coming week. So it's going to be an interesting week for me, but I've got enough to keep me busy. I was telling Suzy off air earlier that I was doing some of my planning and just getting my projects lined up for this year, and it's definitely going to be an interesting year, ladies. Hey, we've got a visitor. Hello.
Yeah, Pebbles. Pebbles is here.
Hi,
Hey.
Pebbles. We've got a fourth host tonight.
Yeah.
Really? How is your beginning of the year happening, Pebbles? Tell us. It was like I ate all the time and I drank. I didn't even believe we're 2025
No,
already.
no, no. Pebbles is just, under the blanket. It's cold. She wanna be under the blanket. That's it.
And it's
There we
real,
go.
real
Easy
cool.
life. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
yeah.
But
So,
like,
Susie,
yes.
quick question. Stepping back into work during the time that you were on leave and taking a break, were you actually thinking about, what happens when I get back in office? Or were you just completely shut off and like, I will cope with that when I get back to the office? I will think about things when I get back to the office. Where was your brain?
The truth is that during my break, I did not even think about work. Like, even thinking was not a thing. Like, I literally had so many messages, like people texting me, like, "Oh, we need your help for this, we need your help for that." And I was like, "Oh, mute. Okay, mute, mute, not attending it." I did not do great things during my break, but I slept a lot and I just tried to. I feel like I was so busy last year that I lost myself in being busy. And then when I wasn't busy, I was like, "Who is this Susie? I don't know you. What do you know? What do you even do as a
Yes.
human being?" It was like this no connection, no trace. And I was like, "You know what? Let's get Susie a little bit back on track." Because it's not the boss Susie, it's just a human being Susie. And
There we go.
we just had that moment with me and I was like, okay, there's certain things I want to bring back to my life. There's certain routines that were really helpful. So you just go back to that, like the backbone of what really made you go to this level. Like, for example, I decided this year that, okay, I'm going back to church. I'm not doing online service again. I'm going back to be there in person and have that community fellowship, because there's nothing like that. And things
No.
like that. So when I started this little step, I was like, you know what, this is really the backbone. So I started focusing on more things like, okay, I want to sing now. Susie, like,
Yes.
sing it. I want to sing like worship in church. I need a piano to be get better in it, start vocalizing. So these little things, but I did not think about work even for a second.
Love it. That's exactly what it's meant to be like, right? And well
Yes.
done for getting back into the music. We're definitely going to be
You.
highlighting that in a future episode.
Thank you.
Renata, how about you? Where was your mind while you were on your break?
Myself. Yeah. It's like, what do I want for this year? So start to make my plans. What should I continue that I started in 2024? I was so happy with a lot of projects, and the Word Without Borders is one of the projects that we started in November, last November, and I think we are so happy to continue that, and this is great. I think
Yes.
we so I'm starting to have a lot of beautiful feedbacks from people that are listening to us, so that motivate, to continue. And the other podcast with the ladies, the empower women across the world, so it's also a beautiful project too.
Yes.
And I'm going to come back with the Planetary Health Coalition, where we can discuss different aspects of planetary health, like ocean, like mental health, like forest, water, woman, and all the issues that related to planetary health that I started last year, and it was a success. And now people are asking for a comeback, and we will come back. And yeah, and my coaching program. So next week I'm going to start with a new group, a few clients. So yeah, everything is backing on track now. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I've basically been trying to shut the engines down while I was on a break, and I think it was only that week after New Year that I successfully just shut down and just slept and read and just chilled, just found myself again. And then few days before I started back in office, I was starting to think about things and like put things in place, like Renata mentioned. And you know what? I realized that I didn't do last year, at the end of last year, and I didn't do at the start of this year. And I only realized this yesterday, which was Friday. There's two things that I normally do when I shut down my year. I've got something and I should have brought it with me. I've got a jar called a glee jar, like a happiness jar, where every time I have a win, I have something to celebrate. I write it on a little post-it note and I pop it into this jar for the year, right? And this is a shout out to my friend Linda Dent, who introduced me to this concept. And so throughout the year, you just date a little page and you write what happened today, what success you had, what win you had, and you put it in there. And normally at the end of the year, I would go through my jar, I'd empty it out and read through all the little bits of
Oh,
all the
nice.
wins, all the celebrations, and just like make a thing of it. I worked until the very last day that I was in office, and I had no time for all of that. I had no time. So my glee jar from 2024 is still standing here staring at me, waiting for some attention, right? And the thing I do normally when I step back into office on the first day is write out all my whiteboards, update my projects, and just like lay out my schedule. These few days that I've been in, like officially back in office, I haven't even completed that yet. I have just gone, right, let's do the scheduling, get the calendar going, got that sorted, and then I went, right, whiteboard. Started listing my projects, and then, the numbers got too high, and I just panicked and I went, nope, not going to finish that right now. I've just distracted myself completely with everything else that I needed to do. Started doing a couple of other things on some of my academy work with my youth. And so I've still got these two things hanging over my head that I'm so used to closing off my year in that way and starting my year in that way. It just feels to me like I'm not quite in that space yet. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, but as I say, like every new year comes with his own vibes and his own way of doing things. So as human beings, that's the amazing thing of being a human being is our ability to adapt
Mm.
to what is getting in front of us, not trying to shut down completely, but adapt and make it work for us, for our space, for the people around us. So it's not the it's you will surely get back to that. To it maybe even it's the middle of the year, you're like, oh, I need a happy moment. Let me just go in my jar and see what happy moments I had last year, and you just go back to that
There
moment.
we
You're
go.
like, okay, we're good.
There
So
we go.
that
There we go. We'll figure a way to fit it into our space.
yes. And also I wanted us to talk a little bit about like what does it mean for us generally to come to that, to like and go back to work? Like which state of mind are we in when we really go back to work, and how does it build in our personality for the year? Like can we talk about it a little bit?
Renata, I'm going to throw that one at you first.
No, I love this example of the jar because I think we need to celebrate baby steps and be aware, of what is going on in life. Like, okay, this is good. Let's celebrate. Let's make a moment. Then let's write about it. So, because it's so easy for our brain to just keep the bad moments, and
Yeah.
we have to be, more consistent in our
Yes.
celebrations. Like, okay,
Yes.
this is a moment for, say congratulations for me, and for others too, for sure.
Yes.
But we have to treat us well and be nice. I think this is something that I learned a lot in 2024, and I want to keep doing that in 2025 because in the end of the day, you have to be your best friend, and that's no other choice. No, so I love this idea. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And thank you for adding that in because you know what I also wanted to mention to you guys today is the fact that there's so much going on and it just off air we were chatting about how different things suddenly feel, and how the vibe was different, like going out of the old year and into the new year. And these two things I realized about my year last year. Renata just touched on one. I needed that glee jar because I'm just one of those people that, like, I'll just go, got that sorted, and I move on, right? I very seldom sit and really absorb that moment and celebrate it in that way. And my friend Linda, who introduced me to the concept, she said, you're literally taking that moment to document that little celebration. And that's what it's all about. So that was a concerted effort from my side to put myself in that space. And I loved doing it last year. At the very beginning, I had to remind myself to document it, to put it in the jar. And then towards the end of the year, it just got so much easier. It became second nature, and the jar filled up, right? And one other thing that I thought about at the start of this year, and just mentally doing a review of 2024, I realized how bad I was at being. Our visitors are back.
All the animals coming.
They got more than three hosts tonight, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were, it's one of those things where coming into this year, I realized how bad I was about actually talking about everything that I'm busy with. And I spoke to so many different people over the holiday period that had no idea of what I was doing. And this is like friends and family, and they were so far behind on the updates. And I just realized how bad I was about actually communicating person to person, online, everywhere. I was just like head down, especially the last 3 months of last year. I was just like head down and like, let's get this done before the end of the year, right? And that's something for this year that I'm going to put in place. I've already put something in place for this year where I'm going to improve that level of communication. And like, it's not just the visibility aspect, it's the communication and like keeping people updated and with me on my journey. I think that's quite important. And yeah, I don't know if you guys want to add something to that before I ask you my next question.
I think for me, like I entered in this year, like different from all the other years I've ever entered it, and enter in this year with a little bit of a selfish behavior. What will I say is a little bit selfish is because I try to focus on me. And I was like, you know what, like Susie. And I think I have to be, I will start being a personal coach, a coach that brings you back to you, because I think
There we
everything
go.
starts with you and where you are and your state of mind. It all starts with you before with anything else or anybody else. So I had that self like examination. I was like, okay, Susie does a lot, but
Yes.
is Susie really happy in that space? Is Susie finding herself in that space? Things like that. So I asked myself a little bit of questions like, am I growing? Yes, I'm growing physically. I'm aging. I'm having my birthdays. I'm having this is going on. This is going on. But like I did a little bit of a lot of introspection, not to judge myself, but just to evaluate myself on like what do we have to work on? Where do we have to increase? Is this relationship leading us anywhere? Is this friendship leading us anywhere? Cut. Nowhere. Cut. We are not carrying baggage today. So it was more like this um personal space judgment and seeing that if this thing doesn't bring joy in my life, it's not needed, it's not required. We remove it. We
Yes.
start focusing on other things. Like I started writing a book. I was like very focused. I was like, okay, I need to write a book.
Yes.
And the Holy Spirit gave me a topic, and I was like, okay, I'm focusing on that. So those aspects, it was like a little bit selfish this year, and I was like, I definitely need that. And I think for me, it's a part where you if you don't go to therapy, this is helpful. I don't go to therapy, so I become my own therapist with God and that moment. And I was like, let's think about you. You have to be in a very good state of mind, because as a leader, you're leading so many people. We're talking about 4,000 people that expect you to bring something new to their life. and you're like,
Right.
okay, it starts with me. Like, what can I do with me that can impact others? So I started working on that. That's why I started writing a book. I was like, I still want to bring that impact, but I can bring it in another way that doesn't require me to be there all the time, but I can bring myself through a paper, a
Yes.
book. You can read me through that. What I'm delivering to you, this is exactly what I wanted to deliver, and I have it written. So that was my perspective in entering for this year.
Awesome. Susie, the one thing that I want to tell you is I love that you went through this process and that you had the experience, but there's nothing selfish about it. It's just you. That's what we need. That's what we need to do on a regular basis. We need to clean that old shelf off and just like give ourselves that room to breathe again because we take on a lot. I mean, we know this. And I think it's really important for us to stress the importance of doing it more regularly and and actually not calling it selfish, calling it that necessary spring clean that we need to rejuvenate and move on. Right? I think that's what it's about. So well done to you for that.
Thank you.
And Renata?
Yeah, I think this conversation is very interesting. Why do we think it's selfish? No, why did we learn that? That thinking about us is being selfish. That's a paradigm that we have to break this and say, no, if I don't think about myself, how can I think about others? You
I
know?
re- I really love that input of you. I think that is a space you get into when you see a lot of people are relying on you
Yes.
Mm.
for them being like, they says, okay, Susie has a plan. Why Susie's Obia is saying, I have no plan. Like, I really do not have one. It's like, Susie have a plan. She'll figure it out and she'll make it work for us. And then as a
Yes.
leader, you're on your side. You have to assure them, I do have a plan. But in that space of sincerity, you turn to yourself, you know what? You're like, God, if you don't have a plan, we are all sinking. Like, nobody else is sinking. All of them. So you just come to that space that when you decide to take time for yourself, you feel like you're selfish because all these people are waiting from you and you are there not for them. You're there for yourself, and you're like it's when you go before God like a pastor that goes before God, instead of praying for the people, he prays that God restore me, because if I'm not
Yes.
better, none of them will be, because I can only give what I have. So that's that state of mind. And sometimes we think it's selfish because we feel like we owe people certain
Yeah.
things. So that is why I named it a little bit selfish, to focus on me
Yes.
than others.
It's a necessity, girl. It's a necessity. And that's the way we need to start looking at it and keep thinking about it because it's so necessary. And you're right, I think all of us are in a space where we are leading people and we're doing impact work, which takes a lot out of you on a normal day. It takes a lot out of you, and we need to replenish. We need that space to actually just breathe through those moments and like hook up with ourselves again before we can actually do what we do in the way that we want to be doing it. Yeah. So in my book, there's nothing selfish about it. I've gotten to that point now. I think, Susie, you still need to catch up a little bit, age wise. I think it's an age thing. You
I
get to
think
that
it
point.
is. I'll catch up
You get
one day.
yeah, you get to that point where you just go, you know what?
I don't
It's me
care.
time now, and it's done. There's no worries given. So, yeah, you,
Yes.
you, you will get it. It will become a little more automatic for you at a later stage, but it is a work in progress. So glad you started on that route.
Thank you.
And then
Yeah,
maybe,
I
yeah,
was sorry, but that's an important discussion because as a leader, so you can just lead others if you can lead yourself.
for
So
sure,
I
for sure.
think it starts from that. Can you imagine follow a leader that doesn't know himself? Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
no, that's
Yeah,
not a good idea. Like, oh, he doesn't know what is best for him. How he doesn't know what is best for me, or
yeah,
for the project or for our company, whatever. Like, I think that's what we expect people that respect themselves first, and then they can, when yeah, I think it's a learning process for sure. And I'm
Yeah,
glad we are having this discussion. Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, I agree with you. I feel like as a leader, you have to come to that space where you are good with yourself, because people will always expect things from you. Unrealistic things. People will expect you to jump to the bridge for out of the bridge for them, to come and feed them, to come, and they'll expect so much from you. And if you don't have that space of security with yourself, you will go way out of what you can do, way out of yourself, and you will be suffering on the inside while the other people you are helping are actually being good, while you are on the other side, you're dying, like low key
Yes.
dying because you want to give your best. So
Yes.
definitely great.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Ladies, it's almost time to wrap up this episode 10. Can you believe it? But I've got one last question for you. So many people have a theme or a word for the new year. Have any of you actually decided this is going to be my word or my theme for 2025 in my space? Let us hear it. Suzy, you look like you already have
I
something
did
there.
it. I did it. I wrote it on my wall in big character, like I wrote it in bold mark. I was like 2025, year of zero excuses. I give myself so many excuses and everything. There's always a reason why this is not done. There's always a reason why we push this. There's always a reason. This year, there's no reason. If we are not doing it, we are not doing it. If we don't
Yes.
follow the routine, we do not follow the routine. So the year of zero excuses. We are not doing
Right.
this excuse this year.
So what's
Love
your
that.
word?
Ah,
What's your word for this year?
Do you have
oh,
a word as well?
oh, the year of fruitfulness.
Oh, love that. Love
Mm,
that. Oh, that's awesome.
fruitfulness. Mm.
Love that one. Thank you for sharing. Renata, how about you?
I think looking back to 2024, for sure, my word was resilience, and now my word is connection. I think that that's my goal for this year, to build stronger connections and
Yes.
new connections. So we will see. I'm prepared.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, and from my side, I've been going up and down about this, but I think I need to zero back into my purpose space. So for 2025, I've chosen purpose as my word because that is what kickstarted all of these things that are these amazing things happening in my space at the moment. This podcast, and it's just purpose is what got me into the spaces, meeting you guys and sharing these spaces and experiences with you guys. And it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a year filled with purpose and profits, we hope, all round, and prosperity, abundance, and just happiness, joy, all of those good things. And yeah, I think for me, purpose is the core of all of it. And I want to center myself on that. So, yeah, and I hope that people listening in or have enjoyed the discussion with us today. And if you've got any comments, please add it, engage with us, and subscribe to our channel, World Without Borders podcast, and share, engage with us, and like our podcast, please. And we will see you next time for episode 11. Thank you very much, ladies. Great being with you today.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
We're crossing oceans, crossing skies, lifting each other as we rise. No more limits, no more walls. Together we answer the world's calls. We're without borders, we are free, telling the stories of humanity. No more divide, we stand as one. Together, together, our journey's begun.